Good morning, everybody. Back again in full effect. Power 7 Podcast. It's your boy, the Almighty Nicodemus. Back again. Last week, I didn't get to continue our story that we were doing. I was out underneath the weather. But the boy is back again for another one. Good morning. So we left off bringing in the first edition of the new school, and I'm speaking on Run DMC coming in and pretty much saving hip-hop, because hip-hop, with all the albums that were coming out on Sugar Hill Records and the Enjoy Records, and the way they were making them, they didn't sound how it did in the streets or in the clubs that they were doing. And so here comes Run DMC. And what they did is they stripped down the sound. So it kind of had more of that feel of what you heard in the jams. So when they stripped everything down, not only did they strip down the beat, they stripped down the look. Because if you've ever gone back, I'm quite sure a lot of y'all have, you go back and you look at the first generation of hip-hop, they all had on, they look like funk stars or rock stars, leather and fucking open vest, and it just had a they looked like, what the hell is this? Like some S&M people or some shit, just some weird shit, the way they dressed back then. And Run DMC stripped down that look and actually dressed like the streets as well. So not only were they trying to usher in what it really sounded like when you heard hip-hop live, but they were also trying to bring in the look. And so Larry Smith and Rick Rubin had a large part to do with the sound that was created. And Jam Master Jay, of course, had something to do with that look that you saw Run DMC in. Now, during this time, there were a lot of, leading up after this time, you had all the movies starting to come out, the break-ins, the beat streets, Crush Groove. All of these things was happening, and hip-hop started gaining some attention. And a lot of people may not talk about it or even forgot about it now. But, Run DMC, Russell Simmons, Rush, recording artists, they had a lot to do with that. They had a lot to do with what happened. Because as I said, hip-hop was getting money through the clubs, and then they started making records, but it really was getting to a point where it was going to die off. It was really going to start wearing off, and it probably was just going to be a regional thing where it would just stay probably in that Tri-City area with New York, Philly, that type of area, because it was going down until that second wave came in, which is the Run DMCs. Then you start having the Tila Rocks when he did It's Yours, and then we get LL. He comes out as it ends up being, you might want to say, hip hop's first teenage superstar. You can put Roxanne Shante in that second generation as well. MC Shan. A lot of those guys came in that second generation. The next generation up, after those guys that were next up, that actually, which is really, as far as the way rhymes end up being structured, especially for the 90s, was the next wave, which was Kool G Rap, Big Daddy Kane, and of course, Rakim. KRS-One, NWA, EPMD, a lot of these groups in this 86, 87, 88 time frame is really the generation, and you may say the second or third generation, really the third generation of hip hop that really ushers in what we'll end up having as far as sound goes for the next 15 years, 10 years, 15 years, maybe more, or even now. Those guys took it really to the level to where we're at right now. And that, my people, actually conclude my little story for Hip Hop 50. Just a little story timeline of how we've gotten where we are. Of course, you had in 1996 with Master P, in my opinion, he pretty much does something which not only does Master P a part of it, but Outkast as well, where the South kind of launches its takeover of hip hop and pretty much stays firm in that position, I believe, from like 97, 98, all the way up until now, where it's pretty much a sound originated in the South, pretty much a sound that everybody pretty much gravitates to now. I'll say Outkast, Dungeon Family, and Master P, in my opinion, are largely responsible for that. Not saying, not taking away nothing from Luke, not taking nothing away from the Ghetto Boys or UGK or anything like that. But Master P, what he did, he launched a campaign. This brother was pushing out albums from No Limit every month or every Tuesday, something crazy like that. And I heard all of them, not because I bought them, but I did have a family member who bought every single No Limit album. And the way they were putting them out, they pretty much changed the game, and I think they helped and played a big role in ushering in how the South ended up taking over. But that's pretty much my breakdown of my timeline. I know I rushed through a lot of it. And then me being out last week, I wasn't able to continue it the way I wanted. However, that's my breakdown of it. That's my breakdown of Simple Rush mission. Like I said, this was for Hip Hop 50, which turned 50. As far as the mainstream is concerned, it turned 50 on Friday. We heard the Eminem Melly Mel battle. Anybody want to tap in, leave a comment, let me know what you thought about the Eminem Melly Mel battle. I think it was not a good battle on either side. I don't think Eminem said anything that was dope. I don't think he said anything that was fire. I think he actually said some things that were like, what? That weren't true. And he just said some shit, I guess, just to shock value people. Melly Mel, I haven't heard no music from Melly Mel, so he's going to come out like a person who hasn't been making any music. I think the beat wasn't good, and maybe, just maybe, if he would have fucking took something slower, he may have came out with something better, but we'll never know. But once again, it's your boy, the Almighty Nicodemus. Dropped an early episode this morning just to make up for last week. Shout out to all the people that tap in and listen to me. I'll be jumping back in with you guys tomorrow morning. Regular scheduled program and regular scheduled time. And y'all have a good day. Peace.